What it do, y'all? It's Glad Gaming, and today's video will be a tier list video. Now, this video is all just my opinion. You may feel differently about different characters than me, but I do feel like I got a pretty good gauge on all the characters in the game. So I definitely want to just give my opinions on which characters I think are S tier all the way down to D tier. I don't believe it's any tier lower than D tier though. But without further ado, let's get to it. The first person on the list, we gonna get him out the way fast, is All Might. All Might is easily in the S tier in my opinion. I think he has one of the most complete sets in game, the most complete kits in game. He has two special actions, one being a long leap where he can engage and disengage in fights at his will basically, and he also can pick up an ally and revive him instantly after the pickup. So he's definitely S tier. His moveset is S tier. It wouldn't make sense if he was anything lower than S tier as far as the MHA game goes or the MHA world goes. So it's not a slight to all my users. I don't think he's free. I do believe like some of the changes they made to him were decent balancing changes. So I don't think he's just, you can pick him up and beat everybody in the game. But he is definitely S tier. The next character I want to talk about is Mentos. Now I would put Mentos in A tier. The only reason he's not in the A plus tier or S tier is because if you have a Mentos on your team, it could be one or two things. He could be really helping his team, stalling the other team, doing good decent damage. He could be doing a lot, or he could be selling. He could be blocking his own team in with other teams, getting them killed. So it could be either way with a Mentos, but he is a really good character. He has really good movement. He has really good damage, and he's a really good support character for the team. So that's the only thing not getting him higher, is the fact that people who play him don't play him the best way. The next character I want to talk about is Dobby. Dobby is in A tier as well. The only thing that's keeping Dobby from S or A plus tier is his movement. He lacks movement in this game. Movement is really important. He can set traps that can stop projectiles, but sometimes if you can't get out of a situation fast, that's pretty much the game for you. So that's the only thing keeping him at A on the tier list. Some tweaks to his character can easily push him over to A plus or S tier. The next character I want to talk about is Kaminari. I have Kaminari in B tier, and some people might disagree because Kaminari does a lot of damage, but listen, his damage is good, but he is a gimmick character. He has to set up his combo. If Kaminari doesn't get his combo off, he's useless. So if you're playing with somebody who doesn't really know how to use Kaminari to his full potential, then you're getting nothing out of Kaminari. He's definitely, in my opinion, a skill-based character. You can't just hop on a game and start using Kaminari and start getting W's. That's not how it works. You have to be pretty skilled to use Kaminari, because he doesn't really have many long-range attacks. He does have a long-range R2, but it's really to set up his trap. It's not really for shooting people down with. So you have to have some type of skill, some type of knowledge of setting up traps to get the best out of Kaminari. The next character I want to put on here is Kirishima. I have Kirishima at B tier. Now Kirishima is a really good tank for his team. Don't get me wrong. But the lack of movement and the lack of long range moves is what's keeping him so low. Long range moves and having a movement ability are really what can make or break a team in this game. If you don't have at least one character who can do either or, then your team is really lacking. And because he has to get close to everyone he fights, he definitely doesn't flourish in 2v1s or 3v1s. He kinda is a sit and duck after a while. Yes, he can take a lot of damage, but it takes a long time. Once his harden runs out, it takes a long time for it to come back. So I definitely think he can get a buff. Let me know in the comments what y'all think about Kirishima, but yeah, that's why I have him at B tier. The next character I'm putting up is Toga. And I got Toga at D tier, and Toga players might be surprised, but listen, she fell off. Let's be honest. In the beta, Toga was way more of a problem in my opinion, but I don't know exactly what they did to her character, but she just doesn't feel like a factor anymore as far as games go. Whenever I see a Toga, I'm not worried at all. I know I'm going to get the dub against them, unless you're a really, really good Toga or something, I guess. But yeah, she's just not a factor to me anymore. I don't think she's as good as she was in both the betas. Let me know your opinion on Toga, because maybe I'm tripping, but I definitely think she fell off. The next character I want to put on the list is Ibar. Now, if you've been playing MHA, you know that this is facts. Ibar is S tier. She's the best support character in the game. Her R2 move is amazing. Her R1 move is amazing. She is just an amazing character. She can heal, she can revive long range, she can fight long range, she has 400 health. She is the only character in this game that I will say is free. Even though it's pretty hard to get her, which makes it a bit easier to deal with, because it's not like you're going to see her in every match. But she is definitely free. She's definitely worth the road tickets if you can get her. Her kit is amazing. The next character I want to talk about is Kendo. Kendo I have in D tier as well. Listen. She is trash. Let's be honest. Like, she's trash. She's a good character if you're on a good team. Like, she can get some work done, but Kendo has nothing that will worry a good player. Like, her moves are okay at best. Her shield is okay, but when you got somebody like Momo, or you got like a Compress who can deflect, like it's so many better characters on the game, and that's why I have her at D tier. Hey man, if you're a Kendo main, I'm sorry. If you're a Kendo main and you go crazy, that's actually a compliment. So don't be mad. The next character I want to talk about is my boy Deku. Now Deku, in the beta, I would say he was A tier. In the beta, I would say he was A tier. But in the full release, they nerfed my boy to the ground. And I can say that wholeheartedly because I was a Deku main in the beta, and even when the game released, I was running Deku. I just wanted to try new characters, but they nerfed my boy to the ground. He used to get 3 black whip charges, but now he only gets 2, and he only gets the second one at level 9. They nerfed his damage as well, which is okay because he was kind of hitting too hard. He still hits pretty hard, but you have to level him. But getting into the game, Deku is not that much of a problem if he doesn't have his levels. So that's why I got him at B tier. That's not saying he's mid. I'm just saying, well, that is saying he's mid. That's not saying he's bad. I'm just saying he's pretty middle of the road right now. He's not the best. He's definitely not the worst. The next character I want to talk about is Bakugou. Now listen. I thought Deku was the main character, but clearly in the dev's eyes, it's Bakugou. Bakugou is OP. One of the best characters in the game. Just like All Might, I feel like he is another character with a really complete kit. He has great long range, great mid range in his grenades, great close range in his Hauser and his melee attack, and beautiful movement. He hits like a truck. Now, some people might argue he's supposed to be like that because he's Bakugou. As far as balancing goes, Bakugou is definitely a character that you can just jump on the game, pick, and do a ton of damage and get a ton of wins with. I'm not calling for a nerf to Bakugou, but the aim assist does not make him any better. The aim assist is really what is making him free. His moveset is his moveset. The aim assist on this game makes him god tier. People don't need the skill. You hit someone with 3 AP shots, they're cooked. There's nothing you can do. So nerf the aim assist and maybe Bakugou will go down in a tier. But as for right now, easily S tier. if it was a S plus tier, I'd put him there. The next character I want to talk about though is Momo. Momo is in A tier. Only reason she's not an A plus or S tier is because putting her in S tier would kind of be putting her next to Ibar, and she is not as good as Ibar. Also, she doesn't have great movement. Now, her shield travels a pretty far distance, but if she's getting attacked from behind with her shield, she's vulnerable. But her shield does go pretty far, but that's all she has as far as it goes for movement. Also, her cannon is good, but it's pretty lackluster, as well as her special action. She does give you heals and shields, but it's not. You find so many, especially if you're in constant combat, that it's not really that game changing. So that's the only reason I have her in A and not in A plus and S tier. The next character I want to talk about is Mr. Compress. Now, if you're watching the gameplay in the back, you see I play Compress. I love Compress in the show, and I love him in the game. But he is a D tier character. Compress doesn't get really good until he unlocks his trucks. He doesn't get his trucks until level 8. Other than that, he has pretty much nothing. The rocks and the barrels are so iffy. Compress is actually a character that aim assist does not benefit, because you have to throw his rocks and his barrels at a certain angle to get the best out of them. And if you're not getting that angle, you're gonna miss every time. You can get saucy with Compress, but he's easily a D tier character. Only thing that I would say that's on him that'll put him maybe in C tier is his movement. He has some of the best movement in game, but the startup time is really slow now. They nerfed it from the beta. So you can take a lot of damage while you're trying to get that startup off, and you can die because of it. So if you're in a really tight jam, that movement gets you nowhere. So that's why I have him in D tier. The next character I want to talk about is Mount Lady. I hate Mount Lady. Nah, I don't hate Mount Lady. But I do think she is a very good character in this game. A tier for sure. The only thing that's not putting her in A plus or S tier is because when she goes big, though it can be really helpful in the right situations, it makes her a sitting duck for anybody who's third partying or anybody who she cannot see. If she's focused on my teammate while she's giant and not focused on me, I'm sitting in the bush, I can just beam her from that bush until I down her. Yeah, she takes reduced damage, but that means nothing to someone who can just sit there and beam me from a safe area and I can just cook her. So that's the only thing that's keeping Mount Lady from being any higher on this tier list. But other than that, I think she has a pretty complete kit as well, in her drop kick, in her air punches, in her ground stomp. She's pretty good, but when she becomes giant in a bad situation, she's just a sitting duck. The next character I want to talk about is your Ravity, or Ochako. You might know her as Ochako. I call her your Ravity. I call her by her hero name, but either way, tomato. She is sitting comfortably at a B tier. She was way stronger in the beta. But they definitely nerfed her as well, made some tweaks to her as well, and that doesn't make her bad. She's still a really good character, and she can be really helpful to have on your team, especially with her float ability, making you be able to jump higher, run faster. Man, you mix that with a character like Ida or a character like Deku, come on, you're going crazy. So she's definitely a good team role player. That's what most of the characters I have in B tier are, role players. So that doesn't make them mad. That just make them good at a specific role and not just great all around. The next character I want to talk about is a lot of people's favorite, Todoroki. Todoroki is also in B tier. Hear me out. If you're having trouble with Todoroki, it's because he is well kitted. Todoroki with low level cards is not that great. His slide doesn't go that far. His fireballs doesn't do that much. And his ice wall doesn't do that much. So, and it's not that big, so it's not giving you the same level of defense that it would be giving you at a higher level. Todoroki is pretty easy to deal with early game. A good Todoroki will go and take his time to get his level cards before engaging, but some people might feel different, like I said, but that's why I have him at B tier. The next character I want to talk about is Tenya Ida. Now, this is the first and will be the only A+ character on the list. Now, hear me out. A lot of people might say he's S tier. Some people might put him lower than that. This is why he sits comfortably in his own tier. Ida, as a character, to me, is in a class all his own. He is good in certain situations, but all he is really used for is for hitting and running. He attacks, he runs off. He attacks, he runs off. All of his moves have knockdown. So using an Ida, you run the risk of knocking a character way too far, so you can't finish your kill because you knocked them into a bush. You don't know what bush he fell in. You lost them. Now you're getting attacked by somebody else. You got to run off again. Also, your team can't move like you move, so you spend a lot of time running away, and now your team is clipped and it's just you in the final circle. Ida in the final circle, his moves do not fit a final circle situation. He's unlikely to win in a final circle alone because of that. All his moves send him out of the circle. He gets his bread and butter from being able to run away and run around and catch you off guard. If he cannot do that, he's fucked. But at any from beginning to mid game to even late game before the circle gets really small, Ida is really good, but he is not the best at finishing kills, and he's also not the best in a final circle situation. That's the only reason I have Ida in a class of his own, because I feel like it is more complicated than people make it when it comes to playing Ida. Because if you're in a final circle, you're getting a lot of damage from almost every move you do because it's sending you into the storm. But that's just my opinion. Like I said, you guys always can feel free to let me know in the comments why I might be tweaking. The next character I want to put on this list is Shigaraki. Now, Shigaraki is the only character that I seen people calling for a nerf for during the beta get a buff. He only got a buff, which is fine. I like his buff. It's nothing too serious. His new move is nothing too serious. But Shigaraki is very strong. Yes, he does take some leveling to get to his true potential. But man, a good Shigaraki is nuts no matter what point of the game he's in. He does so much damage so fast, and his grab goes straight through shield and attacks your health alone. He doesn't even have to worry about shield. If he gets that grab up, it's straight to your health bar. So Shigaraki is easily sitting comfortably at S tier. Do I think Shigaraki is free? No. He lacks movement, but Shigaraki runs pretty fast on the game. So if you got a blue card, you can make up for that. You can compensate for that. I don't think he's free. I don't think he's a character that is handholdy. But if you're getting that damage off, you're definitely going to be going stupid with Shigaraki. The next character I want to put on the list is Froppy. Froppy is B tier. She was nerfed severely. She is not as good as she was in the beta. She's a frog who cannot run up walls. I don't know why the devs did that, but she can't run up walls anymore. Her revive skill, the cooldown now is massive. She can't just constantly pick up anymore like an All Might or a Deku. She has a cooldown on her revive skill. So if you run up and try to raise your team and they go back down immediately, now you're in a bad situation and they're in a worse situation. Froppy has easily dropped a few tiers. She was S tier in the first beta. She was S tier in the second beta. But she is easily dropped down to B tier, and that's okay. That's what we call balancing. I do think she should be able to run up walls again because it doesn't make sense. But I'm not mad at what they did to her revive because it was kind of toxic. I think they tweaked her damage a little bit because I feel like she don't hit as hard. At least when I use her, I felt like she don't hit as hard, but she's fine at B tier. That doesn't make her trash. It just makes her mid, and that's okay. It's okay to be mid. You're probably wondering why I don't have any characters in C tier, and it's because I truly feel like it's not a C tier character in this game. I think C is too low for some characters and too high for others. With a few buffs and changes to some of the D tier characters, they can go up to C tier easily, and maybe it won't be any D tier characters when I have to revise this tier list. But as of right now, that's how I feel. And that's about all for the tier list. That's every character in the game so far. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I know some people might not agree with what I had to say, but like I said in the beginning of the video, it is all opinion. I know this is a pretty long video. I thank you guys for watching, for sticking around as long if you did, and I'll see you in the next one.
To the enemy! What?